His children, 6 children, are in the courtroom at this point listening to all of this. And the jury was picked knowing that they needed a certain level of comfort to hear these types of descriptions. It was very emotional and really tough to hear, bro.
Is there any message for the alleged victims? Do you apologize on behalf of your father? Do you believe your father's innocent? Do you still support your father? Do you apologize on behalf of your father?
For the first time, the 3 Combs sisters attended the trial to support their father emotionally. But less than an hour into the proceedings, they stood up, embraced one another tightly, and left the courtroom in tears. The video shown at that moment revealed something so disturbing that even Diddy's own daughters couldn't bear to watch.
That video is arguably the most important piece of evidence because it sets the stage when we're talking about coercion or fraud or force.
We need you to step to the side. Step to the side, please.
Give us a little space. Give us a little space. Give us a little space.
In Manhattan, federal court, a tense silence filled the room before the trial commenced. Cassie introduced a previously unseen video allegedly capturing footage from a controversial freak-off, a clip that prosecutors claimed held the key to the allegations against Diddy. They described it as pivotal evidence exposing a tangled web of accusations and long-buried family secrets. As the tape was officially entered into evidence, the Combs family's expressions grew heavy as if they sensed they were about to confront something irreversible. Just minutes into the video, Delilah urgently covered the eyes of her twin sister, Jessie, while Chance and Justin stared, unable to look away. Then the image of a familiar woman appeared on the screen. Was it Kim Porter?
On those drives, the witness says 8 videos featured 8 celebrities at Diddy freak-offs or parties, and that 6 were males, 2 were females. The drive also included a manuscript of an alleged Kim Porter memoir, a memoir that her 4 kids insist is fake.
Whispers swept through the courtroom like a sudden gust, breaking the tense silence as the footage played. Then, without uttering a single word, all 3 sisters rose and exited the room. The question remains, what did that video reveal, and why? On their first appearance to support Diddy, did they feel...
Beneath Manhattan's leaden sky, a bustling crowd converged on the federal courthouse where the trial of Sean Diddy Combs entered what seemed like just another day. Outside, reporters jostled for position, cameras flashed incessantly, and protest signs rose high, bearing the words "Justice for the victims." Murmurs of speculation rippled through the throng, from curious onlookers to legal analysts, all sensing the weighty atmosphere before a trial promising high drama. Inside, the courtroom was packed, not a single seat vacant. Sketch artists' pens raced across paper, cameras clicked rhythmically, and the jury's gazes were steely, poised to dissect every detail. The air in that oak-paneled room felt compressed, each breath seeming to fight for existence.
The unexpected presence of the Combs family drew all eyes. For the first time since the scandal broke, the family's reserved seats were no longer vacant. Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, Diddy's 3 daughters, sat prominently in the front row, joined by Justin Bieber Combs, the defendant's son. They were impeccably dressed, their simple yet elegant attire radiating an unanticipated maturity. The girls' faces were stoic, their eyes seemingly concealing a web of intricate emotions. When the media inquired about their attendance, Chance responded with a calm but resolute voice, "We're here to support our father." Yet in their gazes something felt unfinished, a subtle void, as if they were steeling themselves for something far weightier than their words could express.
Prosecutor Rachel Harper, a middle-aged woman with silver hair neatly pulled back and thin-framed glasses, rose from the prosecution table. Her voice was deliberate yet commanding, like the steady beat of a drum marking a momentous occasion. Fixing her piercing gaze on Cassie, she asked, "Please describe to the court what has been referred to as the freak-off and your role in those events." The courtroom seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her response. Cassie took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the room, before briefly resting on Alex, seated nearby, his steady gaze offering silent support. She pressed her lips together, then began to speak, her voice low but resolute, as if every word had been carefully measured.
I met Sean in 2005. I was 19, just signed to Bad Boy Records. He was a powerful man, an icon in the music industry. He promised to take me to the top, to make me a star. But what I got wasn't stardom, it was a trap.
She paused, her eyes scanning the jury to make sure they understood the weight of her words. About a year after we started dating, he introduced me to what he called the freak-off. He said it was a way to unwind, to explore new boundaries. But for me, it felt like a nightmare I couldn't escape.
What is a freak off? The freak off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism.
Cassie described the freak-offs as carefully orchestrated events controlled entirely by Diddy. He called it voyeurism, she said, her voice trembling as she relived the painful memories. He enjoyed watching me with others, but it wasn't just watching. Controlled every detail. What I wore, how the room was lit, what acts were performed, even how much baby oil we had to apply, so our bodies would glisten just the way he wanted. She explained that Diddy forced her to buy revealing outfits from specialty stores, personally selecting which ones she had to wear. I had no say, she said, locking eyes with the jury as her voice grew sharper. If I refused, he would threaten me, leaving me feeling trapped with no way out.
It depends on where the relationship goes. If it's something that you didn't want to share and it's your secret, it's your secret. I do believe in karma if you're hurting people.
According to Cassie, the freak-offs were far from brief gatherings. They often lasted anywhere from 36 to 72 hours. Her voice trembled as she described the overwhelming exhaustion she and the other participants endured. One time, a freak-off stretched to 4 days. They happened weekly, like a mandatory part of my life, she revealed. She recounted her coerced role in organizing these events. I had to find people through platforms like Craigslist or professional services, she said, her eyes dropping in shame. I arranged their travel to places like Miami, Abuja, New York, Louisiana, Las Vegas. I worked with his team pretending they were recruiters bringing people in, but it was all part of the plan he laid out. Cassie explained that Diddy controlled not only the participants, but also the environments where the freak-offs took place. He directed the lighting in the room, she said. At first, it was candles creating a false sense of romance. Later, he switched to professional stage lighting like we were performing in a film where he was the sole director. She described how Diddy choreographed every detail from the participants' movements to the specific acts he wanted to see. He even demanded the use of illicit substances to make everyone more comfortable. Her voice caught as she recalled, I remember once before a freak-off. I had to text him to ask which pill I should take from your bag, and he replied, telling me exactly which one.
Now, with each moment, the testimony became more and more graphic. Her delivery, though, it never changed. It was matter of fact.
The trial reached its climax when Cassie's attorney, Samantha Klein, a woman with neatly tied brown hair and a piercing gaze, stood and requested to play a video. Your Honor, Klein declared, her voice clear and unwavering, we request permission to present evidence of a freak-off from 2018 labeled as the White Party Archive. The courtroom held its breath, all eyes fixed on the large screen in the corner. As the screen flickered to life, the first image revealed a lavish seaside mansion, palm trees swaying gently in the breeze, and neon lights pulsing through the night. Figures moved in a chaotic blur, electronic music thumping, blending with laughter and indistinct sounds. The video captured what were known as Diddy's White Parties gatherings, where celebrities, entrepreneurs, and models came together to revel in extravagance. But what unfolded on the screen was far from glamour. It revealed the dark underbelly of these events. Familiar faces appeared: a businessman in a white suit, a pop star with platinum-dyed hair, a model in a shimmering dress engaged in compromising acts, from using illicit substances to behaviors crossing ethical boundaries. The atmosphere was suffocating, like a world where all rules were erased and power and desire ruled unchecked. From the witness stand, Cassie continued describing her role in the freak-offs. I wasn't just a participant, she said, her gaze steady, though tinged with pain. I was forced to organize everything, from recruiting people to making sure they arrived at the right place and time. I worked under his direction, but I didn't want to. I was afraid that if I refused, he would release compromising videos of me. She revealed that Diddy routinely recorded the freak-offs, archiving them as a tool of control. He said those videos were his insurance, she said, her voice trembling. If I didn't do what he wanted, he'd make them public, ruining my reputation and
in her words, she didn't want to do it, but she felt like she had to do it.
Gosh, it's so difficult to hear all of these details.